Flamingo Land. Now, there are over 11,000 different species of bird that can be found on every continent on our planet. They can range from some of the hottest places on Earth to some of the coldest. They also vary in habitat, appearance and size, going from the smallest bird in the world, which is the bee hummingbird, to the largest bird in the world, which is the ostrich. Now, we're going to introduce you guys to a few of the species we keep here. We are starting off with the largest group of birds, and they are the parrots. Now, the parrot family is massive. There are over 300 different types of parrot, all varying in different shapes, colours and sizes. Now, we're going to introduce you guys to our resident mischief here at the display. He's only going to be out here for a short period of time because unfortunately the longer the time he's out here, the more mischief he likes to cause. And he is a species of cockatoo, and cockatoos are often referred to as the clowns of the parrot world. So they can be very comical and hilarious, but they're also very mischievous. In particular with this one, he does look rather cute, but trust me, he is the devil in disguise, okay? So he may look innocent, but he has got a dark side to him, okay? So we're going to bring him out here. He is a small species of cockatoo. To be precise, he is a lesser sulphur-crested cockatoo, and that's quite a mouthful if you try and say that 5 times fast. And he's called Chico. So this is Chico. He gets his lesser part because he's small. A sulphur comes from the yellow colour he has. He has yellow on his cheeks. He also has a bit of yellow on his crest, which are those little feathers that stick out of the back. He's also got yellow under his wings and tail as well. Now, that crest that he has, they can use that to display to other birds, and also they can display their behaviour and how they're feeling. So when the feathers are like they are now, just folded away, he's calm, he's happy, he's content, he's relaxed. If he's alarmed or excited, they will throw that crest forward and show their excitement, and also to make him look more big and threatening. Now, unfortunately, this particular species of cockatoo is classed as critically endangered in the wild. There are only about 1,500 to 2,000 left in the wild, and these birds come from Australia. Now, there are other animals out there too, and Chico's going to do an impression of one. So, Chico, can we see your impression of the Australian animal? So let's see it again. So apparently this Australian animal likes to bounce. So let's ask our audience, Chico, if they know what he's pretending to be. So I know there's not many of you out here, guys, but what is he pretending to be? Kangaroo. A kangaroo. So Chico, they said kangaroo. Can you confirm? Yes? Good. Now that's all he's going to do out here, because like I said, it's very short and sweet with him. He's actually been on his best behaviour, but I shouldn't do this myself. But give him a clap for coming out here, guys. He's done great. So you can pop yourself away, Chico, back to where you came from, into your little hatch here. After you pop yourself away, you've done brilliantly. Now we're going to stick with the parrots, but introduce you guys to a larger one. And this one is quite a noisy fellow. I will warn you in advance, okay? He is a species of parrot, and it is of course a macaw. Now, macaws, there are 17 different species of them, and the green wing is the second largest. The largest being the hyacinth, the smallest being the Hans macaw. And the Hans macaw is about as big, similar size to that of a conure. Now, this is our green macaw, and he's called Winston. And he gets his species name for the green wing because of those green feathers he has along the side of his wing. Green wings are also mistaken for another species of macaw, and that's the scarlet. The scarlet macaw is another large red macaw. The difference between the two, other than their size, because green wings are larger than scarlets, is the colours. So he goes red, green, blue. The scarlets go red, yellow, blue instead. And also around their face, you'll know he's relatively bare on his face, but he's got tiny feathers. Thanks for that, Winston. But that's referred to as a parrot's laws. And the laws is unique in the trait of the macaw. No other parrot has it. And with the scarlet macaws, they look like they have no feathers on their face. But the tiny feathers on their face are actually white. So they blend in with the white background, while his are red. And those facial feathers are very similar to fingerprints, tiger stripes, zebra stripes, and the fact they're unique to every parrot. Now, macaws are the only one that have this trait. No other parrot does. One trait that all parrots have in common is with their feet. They're very unusual. They've got 2 toes forwards, 2 toes backwards. It basically means they're zygodactyl feet. Okay, so it sounds pretty prehistoric, and as we know, parrots and birds in general have descended from dinosaurs. So they are very dinosaurs at the end of the day. They can be. Now, they're also very clever, these animals. So we have to keep our animals occupied, and we do this by doing training with them. And one particular thing we've trained Winston is to put across a message, and that is what to do with your rubbish, okay? Because rubbish can be a big issue here at the park if it gets into our animals' enclosures. So we've got 3 bits of rubbish. Winston, can you please place them in the bin and sure that's where they have to go? Just one more. And what do you do after? Yeah, you even shut the lid. That's brilliant. So basically, if we can be teaching parrots to put rubbish in the bin, then we can all do the same, and the world will be a much cleaner and better place to live in. Now, another thing that parrots are known for is their ability to talk. But Winston can't say this word, so he's got a banner. So Winston, can you please show everyone your banner, and can you tell them what they should be doing with their rubbish? So what should everyone do with their rubbish? Banner? There we go. What should they do? You should be. That's the right thing to do. Give him a clap for coming out here. He's done great. You can pop yourself away. Now, unlike the sulphur crested cockatoo, the greenwing is actually doing fairly well. Unlike most species of parrot, most species of parrot are, like in the cockatoo's case, critically endangered, threatened, nearly extinct. There was one species that was thought to be extinct, and that is the Spix macaw. And that's what the cartoon, the animated film Rio is based off. So that was a species thought to be extinct, but they did find a small collection of these birds in the wild, so they basically took them into captivity to preserve them and try and breed them and basically reintroduce them back into the wild. And when they started to reintroduce some of these birds back into the wild that they've captured and bred, they actually found more in the wild. So there was still a small pocket out there, so they added to that population and they're protecting the habitat that only those parrots can be found in. So another great bit of conservation work. So a species that nearly went extinct but didn't. Now we're going to introduce you guys to a scavenger. Now this is the bird that's the sole reason we ask you guys to hide your food and drink. More the food than the drink, because he's not afraid to help himself, being a scavenger or an opportunistic feeder. If he sees you with a sandwich, he's going to come and help himself. So we always ask that he's hidden and out of sight. Okay? He's also going to do a bit of flying out here. So a quick word of warning, if he's flying towards you and looks like he's going to hit you, I'm very sorry, he is. He's not the most aerodynamic, and if you don't like birds, why did you come here? So there's your warning. So we're going to introduce you to Derek. And Derek is our African hooded vulture. Here he is. Now, vultures do get a pretty bad reputation. They aren't the most well-loved birds, they're pretty misunderstood, and obviously they're not the most appealing and beautiful to look at. But we're going to hopefully change your mind, and you'll learn to love these birds just like we do. Now, there are 23 species of vulture, and they come in 2 groups. The old world vultures, which is what this species is part of, and these species is typically found in Africa. In the case with Derek's species, the hooded, they're particularly found in sub-Saharan areas of Africa. That's where they occur. And in Africa, where many vultures occur as well, other species, this is actually the smallest species found in Africa. There are also a species of vulture that are called the New World group. The New World group of vultures are found in the Americas. Now, the most distinguishing feature of any vulture, of course, is their bald head. Oh, they're going to land on me then. But that's not due to Derek's age. Okay, Derek may be old, but his age is nothing to do with the fact that he's bald. It's all down to the diet. These birds feed on carrion, and carrion is just a fancy word for dead rotten meat. So they feed a lovely head full of feathers, and decide then what they do is they stick their head straight into a carcass and they find it, and if the head was covered in feathers, obviously all those feathers are covered in blood and guts. So by having very little or no feathers on the head, it keeps the vulture nice and clean. And lots of people think that these birds spread diseases, but they do the opposite. They actually prevent the spread of disease. These birds can eat carcasses that can have diseases like anthrax, rabies, TB can all be present in animal carcasses, and these birds can eat this meat, and even though it's diseased, these guys don't get affected. It's thanks to their very strong stomach acid. So these guys have such a strong stomach acid that they can eat really rotten, gross looking meat, and they can still get nutrition from it. So basically these guys are the big men of the bird world, going around eating unwanted stuff that other animals wouldn't eat. But unfortunately, over half of the vulture species that there are either endangered, extinct, or nearly extinct, threatened. In the case of this species, another species that's critically endangered in the wild. And the main threat to vultures is poisoning. So these birds are intentionally getting poisoned, in particular by poachers. Now, poachers, unfortunately, are going out in Africa and killing other species. For example, poachers go out and kill elephant and rhino. That's because they believe their horns and tusks to have medicinal properties. And in other cultures, they believe this, so they pay big money for it. So unfortunately, a lot of those species are getting killed. But the vultures, being the clever birds that not many people give them credit for, they actually just see these poachers leaving free meals for them. So they learn to follow the poachers. Now the poachers don't like being followed by a vulture, because it's not just one vulture following him. It's a flock of thousands, varying species. And when they spot a dead animal on the ground, they circle in the air. Now this circling obviously is giving away the poacher's location to the authorities, which the poachers don't like. So what they do is they either get an animal, like some livestock, lace it with poison, dump it somewhere, hope the vultures find that before they go and kill the elephant or the rhino, whatever species they're going for. Or they kill the elephant or rhino that they're killing, chop off the parts they need, and then instead lace that animal with poison instead. So when these vultures come down to feed, they are intentionally getting poisoned, and it kills thousands of these birds every day that this happens. And obviously if these birds take that food back to the nest, it's in turn killing the young. So it's not a nice life for a vulture, and all you're doing is keeping the environment clean. Now Derek, you've done great out here. So please can you pop yourself away back to where you came from? Back into your cave. Remember where you're going? Go on, you can do it. He's having too much fun out here. Now you'll notice that Derek is bright pink in the face. So just like us, he blushes. So when he is nervous or scared, he will go bright pale white. Okay? But while he's pink, he's really excited and happy to be out here. So much so, he doesn't want to leave. You need to leave, sir. Thank you. Give him a clap, we got there eventually. Now, unfortunately, that has brought us to the end of this display, but we are going to bring out another one of our birds for you guys to get up close to and meet. So we're going to actually bring out a bird of prey. So we're going to bring out barn owl. So the barn owl we're going to bring out is called Bundy, and obviously Bundy is a very unusual name. And the reason why he's got this name is due to a partnership Flamingo Land has with the Zunga Forest Project. So that's a project based in Africa, in a part of Africa called Tanzania, and that part of the world they speak a language called Swahili. So Bundy's name comes from that Swahili language. So if we translate it back to English, Bundy actually means owl. So basically he's called Owl, if we were just to call it in English, but Bundy, far cooler. So that's the reason for his very unusual name. Now he's out here, so if you want to get closer, stand next to him and get pictures stood next to him, you're more than welcome to. If you've got any questions, feel free to come and chat to us. We'll be happy to chat with you. If you haven't got any of our other animal talks and feeds on today, the next one, half one tiger talk, out of here toward the dome, down the hill on your right. In the same area is the red pandas at 1:45. 2 o'clock is our fur seal talk and feed. That's down at our new Sightline Coast down the bottom. And we've also got a penguin talk at 3. That's all the way at the back of the park. And we've got a meet creature at 3:30 in our Discovery Centre, which is in the top square past Muddy Brook Cafe. I hope you've enjoyed the display, enjoyed meeting a few of our birds.